Hey guys, stay-patient here. It's that time of the week again when the PlayStation stores have all updated, and so we're going to take a look at the new sales and discounts on the European store first. I'm using the UK store for this, but obviously the sales pretty much mirror all those in all the European countries. So if you're in mainland Europe, then although the prices will be different, it will be in euros, the sales will pretty much be the same for you as well. Now we're going to dive straight into this because there are a lot to look through today. We've got this totally digital sale here, and there are 20 pages of discounts. Now we're going to kind of scan through pretty quickly. A lot of these don't have platinum, so we've got games like Abzu and Firewatch, which are actually quite enjoyable to play, but they don't have plats. They're nice and easy though, so you've got a couple of easy 100%s there. We've got on page 2, let's have a look. We've got Day of the Tentacle. Obviously most of you will already have this because it was free in January, just a couple of months ago. But if you did forget to download it, you can grab it here as well. I don't think it's reduced. Oh no, it is reduced further if you've got PlayStation Plus. So a lot of these games that we're going to look at today will be cheaper if you've got a PS Plus membership. And those discounts aren't going to show up for us unless we actually click on the game. So just bear that in mind. You know, if you find some games that you're interested in but they seem like they're too much money, then just go onto your actual store on the PS4 itself, and most of them will be even cheaper if you're a PS Plus member, as most people are. Valley is another easy one apparently. I haven't done this yet, but it takes around 10 hours. I think it's a 2 out of 10 in difficulty. And it's one of those games that if you know what you're doing and if you follow a guide, you can get it done a lot quicker. I think it's possible in around 3 hours. Inside and Limbo are both from the same developers. They're both very good games, and you've got a double pack up here. But Inside is nice and easy. Limbo does have at least one tricky trophy, so just bear that in mind if you're buying the double pack. You know, check out a guide beforehand. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, another nice easy 100%, but no platinum showing up just yet. The Witness does have a platinum. It's an amazing game, but you know, it's quite tricky. There's one trophy in it that you will find quite difficult. Goat Simulator is similar actually. This has a plat as well. It's very cheap at the moment. It does have some DLC that's on sale too, which shows up later on. But this is one of those games that is super quick, super easy, except for one trophy, which most people who play the game really struggle with. It's called Flappy Goat, and it's basically a take on Flappy Bird. You need to make your way through 10 of the obstacles, and the controls are terrible. The hit detection is way off, and it's just really tricky. It will kind of have you tearing your hair out. But once you've done that trophy, all the rest of the platinum can be done in around 2 hours. Soma has a platinum as well, if I remember correctly, and it's quite an easy one, although it will take a bit longer than some of the others. It's not a long one, but I think it's about 10 hours if I remember correctly. We've got Oddworld New and Tasty, sort of average difficulty, but a very fun game, worth playing, especially for those of you who like the sort of PS1 nostalgia. The Little Acre, a super easy, super quick plat. I've got a guide for this up on my channel. It takes about an hour to complete, so if you haven't bought that yet, now is your chance to do so. Oceanhorn as well. You know, Little Acre has a platinum, so does Oceanhorn. In fact, all of these games on this top row, except for Valiant Hearts, all have platinums. And this is another nice easy one. I think it's about 15 hours long, and people liken it to Zelda if you like those types of games. Obviously not going to be as good as the recent Zelda 2 release on the Nintendo Switch, the Breath of the Wild. Layers of Fear, no platinum there, but a nice easy 100%. What else have we got? The Escapist, this is a double pack. This is always on sale, and both games... actually, I was about to say both games have platinums. I think one does and one doesn't. You might want to double check that, but at least one of the Escapist games does have a plat, and they're fairly simple, not like the easiest plats in the world, but anyone should be able to make their way through them with a bit of effort. I'm kind of just looking for highlights here, guys, because we could be here all day with the 20 pages that we've got to look through. The Trine trilogy here, you get all 3 games. The third one is very easy. The second one, don't be fooled by the fact that it was easy on PS3. It was very quick and easy, you know, the PS3 version of Trine 2, but the one on PS4 has been redone and it's very difficult. The first Trine is kind of similar difficulty as it was on PS3. It's sort of average, like a 4 or 5 out of 10. But the third one is very easy. It takes about 6 hours. So, I mean, you could always buy the trilogy and try them all, or you could buy them separately because they are on sale individually as well. Let's have a look here. Shadwen apparently is a nice easy platinum. Not super easy, but, you know, it's one of those that anyone will be able to earn. I think it's like a 2 or 3 out of 10. Not too long either, from what I understand. It's one of those games on my list to play at some point. Broken Age was free at one point, so you probably already own it, but it's a point-and-click adventure that is slightly more difficult than your typical point-and-click because of the speedrun-related trophy. I think it's that one that has a speedrun. But yeah, it's nothing too tricky. Most of you should be able to get through it. We've got Headlander. This is a game I bought a while ago based on it being... It didn't have a lot of feedback, but apparently, you know, the few people who had left feedback on PlayStationTrophies.org seemed to think it was nice and easy. It was like a 2 out of 10. I think it's about an 8-hour platinum. It looks kind of interesting as well. Transistor and Bastion are both from Supergiant Games, the same studio there. They're both great games. I haven't really spent much time with Bastion. You know, I tried it for a little bit. It didn't really grab me, but Transistor is amazing. It's one of the best games on PS4. It's not like a super easy platinum, but it's very doable. It's only like a maybe 3 or 4 out of 10 really. But there's enough challenge to keep it interesting, and it's really, really clever. It's got some amazing new features that you won't have seen in any other game, and it's just really interesting. I'd definitely recommend buying it. It was free a couple of years ago, I think. It was free on PlayStation Plus. So if you might already have it, I do recommend playing it if you do have it in your download list. But if you haven't, then definitely buy it, guys. Let's just double check. It's not any cheaper on PS Plus, but it's only £4, and that's an absolute steal. You know, it's not one of those games that's good because it was free. It's one of those games that's amazing whether you pay for it or not. Next up we have Oxenfree, which was received really well. It got great reviews and everything, and although it only has 14 trophies, it does have a platinum, and it's a nice easy one as well, 2 out of 10, and it's going to take somewhere around 10 hours if I remember correctly, so check that one out if it appeals to you. Here is the DLC, or at least one of the DLCs for Goat Sim and the Trine games individually. If we crack on here, so much to get through this week, crumbs. So the rest of the Goat Sim DLC, all of the DLC itself is really easy. It's only that one Flappy Goat trophy from the Platinum that's difficult. Nom Nom Galaxy is a bit of a weird one because it's given low difficulty ratings by anyone that gives feedback on the forums. But, you know, it's very rare. The Platinum for it is a very rare one, considering the fact that it's meant to be relatively simple. And this was free last year. It's another one that was free. So they're selling it for cheap because they know that everyone's pretty much already got it. We've got here a bunch of Rocket League stuff. That's all the DLC, basically. Not all the DLC has trophies linked to it, and I think most of the trophy-related DLCs were free. Let's have a look, though. We're going to skip this page. There's not really much on there worth taking a look at. We've got some Autonaut stuff. Guacamelee is very fun, but, you know, there are some tricky trophies in it. It's not too difficult, but it will take a bit of skill. We've got Never Alone here. Nice, easy, 100%, but no platinum. The same goes for Octodad. You can literally finish this in less than an hour, but again, no platinum. The Escapist games are available individually there. Ah yeah, this one stands out. Defense Grid 2. This showed up in my recent top 10, talking about the most enjoyable easy platinums. I really love it. Defense Grid 2 is a great game, and it's really cheap here. Is it cheaper on PS Plus? No, so it's £3.29 for everybody. But that's a great buy. That was quite expensive to begin with, about £15 or £20, and it's really fun. The platinum's nice and simple. The time requirement is very difficult to predict because there are some requirements that are RNG based. Dogchild, a nice easy 100% there. We've got Hue, I believe that's another easy 100% but no plat. Shelter does have a platinum. It takes a little bit longer. I think it's like 15 or 20 hours. In fact, I've got the guide open here. Yeah, around 20 hours maybe. And it's a 4 out of 10 according to the guide. You can always have a look at it, and if it's the kind of game that appeals to you, maybe check out the guide yourself and read the feedback in the difficulty rating thread. Duke Nukem 3D, this is definitely easy. This is so simple. It's like an hour long. In fact, you can finish it in 30 minutes if you know what you're doing. But either way, there's loads of cheats in the game that you can use, and you can just fly through the trophies, and it does have a plat. So this is literally one of the easiest and fastest platinums on PS4. Brothers is a fun game. It doesn't have a plat, but it's worth playing, and it's nice and easy as well. It's quite a cool little control scheme, you know, different to anything else I've played. Sports Friends, this is a nice quick, I think like about a 10-minute 100%, you know, just a few trophies. But Strider here does have a platinum. This is really fun. It's not super easy. It's given like a 3 out of 10 difficulty, but a lot of people find it harder than that. So it really depends on your experience with 2D hack and slash sort of Metroidvania style games. But I really enjoyed it, and it's the kind of game that's a lot of fun, and you won't really care about the difficulty because you'll just stick with it because you're enjoying yourself. We're only like halfway through these, guys. Child of Light, that doesn't have a plat either, but that's really enjoyable. It's like a 2D RPG. I had a lot of fun with it. Psychonauts was a great game on PS2, but the PS4 port isn't that great. Let's see here. I think Psychonauts is probably a fairly basic platinum, but I can't remember for definite. Apologies for that. What have you got? Pixel Junk Shooter Ultimate. That was free at some point, so you probably already got it. It's not a super easy plat, but it's very much doable, like a 4 or 5 out of 10. Not too long either. Let's have a look here. Oh, these are all the arcade game series games. All 4 of these are really notorious for being super cheap. I mean, look at them. They're $1.19. Maybe they're even cheaper. No, still the same price if you're a PS Plus member. But, you know, they're notoriously cheap platinums because each one of them has a plat, and you can actually buy 3 of them together as a bundle, but I don't think that's on sale, so it might work out cheaper doing them individually like this. But they are the kind of games that people expect to be super easy because they're given such low difficulty ratings, but when they start playing them themselves, they come into difficulty, they realise that they're a bit trickier than they were expecting. The 2 easiest ones are the 2 Pac-Man ones. Gallagher and Dig Dug are a little bit trickier. But even the easiest one, Miss Pac-Man, does take a bit of skill, and I mean, it's not really skill, it's more kind of determination and persistence, because it's one of those games where you need to kind of quit out, upload your save to the PlayStation Plus cloud, and then go back in, because if you die, you lose your save and go back to the start. So if you're working on the harder trophies, you can upload your save and come back to it later if you do fail, but that gets quite annoying because you're skipping out of the game and back in again over and over again every time you mess up. But, you know, once you finish them, you'll look back and realise that they were nice and quick. You know, no matter how much frustration you felt, you did get them done in no time at all, usually around half an hour or an hour. Lara Croft and the Temple of Osiris, that's nice and easy. It doesn't have a plat, but it's a really fun game. Those top-down Lara Croft games are quite enjoyable. Obviously, it's very different to Lara Croft Go. You're actually, you know, moving about freely, but they're quite nicely put together, those ones. What have we got here? Pure Pools, not nice and difficult if you like a challenge. A lot of these I don't think are on sale. As we get to the end of this, some of them aren't really actually on sale. They're just kind of thrown in here for some reason. The Deadly Tower of Monsters, this was free a couple of months ago in December, I think. This is very nice and easy, and it's like 5 or 6 hours long, plus it's enjoyable, and it does have a plat. So if you forgot to download that back in December, or you're not a PS Plus member, then pick it up now for nice and cheap. Definitely a worthwhile play. A lot of people really enjoyed it, actually. Let's see here. We've got Colat, I believe, is an easy 100%. Another one I've not played. LA Cops does have a platinum. And this is, you know, it's one of those games that's considered easy, but again, people go into it thinking it's going to be really straightforward and then they struggle. But basically, it's one of those games that you will need a bit of skill, you'll need a bit of practice, but anyone will be able to do it, you know? You just need to play it for a bit and you'll gradually build up the skill required. But it's certainly not difficult. £2.49 as well. It's nice, quick platinum, so that's a definite worthy purchase for any trophy hunter. These are as well. Riptide Gp2 is actually a lot of fun. This showed up in my most enjoyable easy plats video. And Beach Buggy Racing, I started that, but then the game save corrupted on me, so I lost it all and I haven't started it again. But it's one of those that was really long-winded. It had really, really long-winded requirements for the trophies, but then they patched it, and they've only actually patched the European version. So it's handy that it's on sale here on the European store, because they've patched the requirements to lower the amount of time that's required quite drastically. So even if you're in the US, it's worth picking this up from the European store if you've got access to one, because the trophies are so much quicker and easier if you're playing the version from the UK. Typewriter, I don't actually know anything about that game, but it looks very similar to another one that's going to show up in a moment, which is one we have discussed before. I think it's on the next page, but Night in the Woods, that's a new game that does look nice and easy, although we're going to need a guide for it. You know, it's one of those games with very obscure descriptions for the trophies, and from what I understand, I think a lot of them are glitched at the moment, so don't jump into this one just yet, give it a bit of time. And it's not on sale, I don't think. I'm not sure why it's showing up here, but it's still £19, very expensive if you ask me. Wheels of Aurelia, again, another one I've not played, but this is a platinum, and it is nice and easy from what I understand, and a pretty quick one too. We've got, next page, I think Dead Effect 2, that was the one that looked a bit like Doom, and again, I think that's a relatively straightforward plat. Again, a lot of these games are going to require you to do a little bit more research of your own, because I can't sort of explain each one of them in full. But we're just kind of pointing out the highlights here. Typo Man is the game I was trying to think of. That Type Rider game looks very similar to this. This looks really cool, and I'm going to check it out at some point when I have the time. But Subterrane looks kind of cool as well. That's probably going to be quite difficult. That's a permadeath game, survival type genre. Let's see here. Oh, Knee Deep. This is quite a recent release, one of the point-and-click adventures that is going to end up being nice and easy. It's $11.99, so I don't think it's actually on sale. If we look here, there's no sale price, so I'm not sure why it's showing up. But it is a worthwhile purchase because it's going to be an easy plat once there's a guide. In fact, I think there already is a text guide on PlayStationTrophies.org. Enigmatis as well, that has a guide already. This is one of these sort of hidden item games from Artifex Mundi, the guys that did Clockwork Tales of Glass and Ink. One of these super quick platinums I did a guide for recently, so definitely check that out. That's one of the easiest platinums in this sale here, although it's not actually on sale. And here we have a couple of games left. I don't really know much about these. £50, why is that even here? So guys, we're going to take a look at another sale now. This is basically a PlayStation Plus related sale. If we go back to deals and offers here. Now, we're not going to be able to see the PS Plus reductions on this sale. It's this double discounts one. PlayStation Plus double discounts. Now, this is mostly AAA games, and there are some easy platinums peppered in, but the prices are actually really good for a lot of these games. Now, you'll notice here that we've got like $19.99, $31.99, but these aren't the prices you'll be paying. If you use a site like psprices.com, which was pointed out to me recently by some of our viewers, this is very useful. Now, I would have used this site to go through all the sales and show you because it does display the PS Plus prices. But there's so many games on sale at any given time that it would just take far too long looking through it on this site. But we are going to point out, in fact, there's one game here. I'm going to just point out, I think I've got it on the back page, yeah. Okay, so this is Borderlands The Handsome Collection, which is going to show up in the sale that we're going to look at now. This is just a good example of how much extra you're saving if you are a PS Plus member. You'll see here that the game is usually $44.99 and it's reduced down to $26.99, which is the price that will show up when we're looking through the store, but it's down from $26.99 to $8.99 if you're a PS Plus member. So that's just a good example of how much extra you're saving on PS Plus. So when we're looking through this, don't just write these games off as too expensive because they are really actually very cheap, some of them at least. We're going to skip through most of them because most of the AAA games are games that you'll play if you enjoy them rather than just for the trophies because they tend to be more expensive or, you know, maybe take a bit longer. Canis Canem Edit, this is Bully, of course, it's the other name for Bully. This is a relatively easy platinum. It's going to take, I think, around 15 hours, but that's definitely one for trophy hunters. It's quite nostalgic as well. Same for Manhunt as well. This is another PS2 re-release or remaster, and that's got a nice easy platinum too. F1 2016 is a really good racing game for racing fans. You know, it's a nice easy platinum if you're used to racing games. Obviously, some people find all of them difficult. But this is $36.84, but the actual price you'll be paying is, if I remember correctly, it's about £16 or £17, something around that amount. So that's a good example of how much, you know, how much extra you'll save if you actually take a look on the store yourself. Obviously, you need to be a PS Plus member for that saving. Assetto Corsa is another game that's like down to about £15 or so. And this is very difficult though, you know, it's not an easy platinum by any means, a very tough one, but if you like a challenge, that might be one for you. Sleeping Dogs is actually like £4 something, it's less than a fiver. So you're saving another £10 off the sale price itself. So this is a really easy platinum, but it's really fun as well. It's going to take about 30 hours and then you've got the DLC on top of it, which is included in the definitive edition. Let's keep going here. I'm not going to look at too many, otherwise it's going to be far too long, this video. WRC 6. Those WRC games are always easy, but this one is a lot longer than usual. It's like 50 or 60 hours long, I think. Dragon Quest Builders looks really fun. I've had a copy of that for a while, but not had a chance to play it, and I think it's a fairly straightforward platinum. I believe it's around like £25 or something. But again, like I said before, you know, if you want to check this site, the psprices.com, that will tell you how much these games are with a PS Plus membership. Let's see here, we've got let's have a look. I think this is the final page. Yeah, that's going to be handy. I think we've got some easy plats on this page. Yeah, Life is Strange. This is somewhere around £6, I think. This is a great game. It's episodic, just point and click adventure, a bit like all the Telltale games. But I find it even better than the Telltale ones. It's, you know, it's more enjoyable. All the trophies are missable, but they're very easy to go back and tidy up and mop up at the end if you need to. You know, I definitely recommend it. It's a really good story. So dive on that. It's nice, quick, 10 to 15 hour platinum. Deponia is another point and click game. This looks pretty cool. Again, it's a game I've bought but not played yet, and there are some guides up for it. Another game that came out around the same time was Silence. It's from the same developers, I think, or at least the same publishers. And this one's a bit tougher, it does require several playthroughs. But again, if you follow a guide, you should be able to get through it. It's another point and click adventure, so there's nothing too tough there. Borderlands we already mentioned. This is obviously the Handsome Collection, which comes with Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, along with all the DLC released for both games, which is quite a lot, especially from Borderlands 2. Now, these aren't as tough as you might think they're going to be. They are long-winded. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to think about. But there's not really much that's missable. I don't think anything is missable in the game. And it's just so much fun. It actually got the #1 spot on my most enjoyable Easy Platinums video recently. Just buy it. It's $8.99. It's an absolute steal. And if you buy it digitally, you can download it on 2 PS4s, use the activation, activate your account on the second PS4 so that a friend can use it and you can play it with them. Just buy it. It's one of the best games ever made in my opinion. What else? Oh, we got Republic here. This is another game I've not played, but an easy platinum. It's well renowned as being an easy plat, and it's a lot cheaper if you're on PS Plus. I forget the exact price, but it's a huge amount cheaper. It's only a few quid. The same goes for another game in a moment. We have got Sherlock Holmes: The Devil's Daughter here, quite expensive still, but I think it's going to be, quite a bit cheaper if you are on PS Plus. We've got the Telltale Games collection here. This is all 5 of the main Telltale releases. Now, this is showing as £80 down to £52, but the actual price is £24, which is the sale price. Whenever they put it on sale, it's around £25, because of course that ends up as £5 each, and they're all great games. They're all easy platinum, so that's a really good purchase if you've not got them already. I'm guessing most of you out there who are trophy hunters will have already played all of them. Tropico 5, not too bad. Platinum. Valentino Rossi I hear is nice and easy. So again, just take a look at the PS Plus price and see if it's worth picking up there. And we've got Valkyria Chronicles. This is another really good game from the PS3 era. It was re-released with trophies for PS4. And, it's a game that if you follow a guide, it's not too difficult. Anyway, there we go, guys. This is going to be a weekly feature now. I'm going to do a video looking at the European store and also the US store. So keep your eye out today, because I'm going to be uploading a second video looking at the US store as well. And also the Trophy Hunters Hangout video from this week is going to be activated on YouTube within the next few hours also. And so check that out. And thanks for watching, guys. I'm sorry this has been a long video, but that's a good sign because there's lots of games on sale. Go and grab all the ones with the easy platinums and whack them onto your collection. Have a good one, and I'll catch you very shortly for the US video. Cheers.